Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. Today is Wednesday, which means we have Science for Humans with my co-host, Dr. Jeff Golini, in just a moment. And in traditional Science for Humans style, we will be breaking the news on something that you probably won't hear about in the media until maybe a day or so from now. And that is there's a new anti-obesity drug out there. We're going to tell you the story, how it works, how they found it, and what you should think about it. Of course, our title sponsor happens to be All-American Pharmaceutical and EFX Sports, and they are giving away 6 of their top-selling products right now, absolutely free. You just go to superhumanradio.net, click the EFX Sports banner ads. They're all over the place. Put in your address and information, and you will pay $5 and change for shipping, but that's truly the shipping cost. It's not a self-liquidating promotion like you see out there where they go, oh, you get a free bottle of this, but just pay $19.95 shipping and handling. It's like, yeah, you're paying for the bottle. That's not what Dr. Jeff does. Dr. Jeff's not like that. Dr. Jeff believes that no one should buy anything until they've tried it, and he puts his money where his mouth is. And you can get Carbolin, you can get protein powder, you can get pre-workout. I mean, it's just a really, really great package of goodies. And guess what? You can order it more than once. That's right. You just have to go back to the website and put your information in a second time and pay for shipping and handling, and you'll get it again. Who does that? I don't know anybody who does that. But then again, I don't know anybody like Dr. Jeff, and let's roll his theme music.
This is Science for Humans with Dr. Jeff Golini.
My favorite part of the week. Too bad it only lasts. Too bad it only lasts a half hour, because you've become like a production maniac. After you do my show, you do your video thing that you do that goes out on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. I mean, dude, you're like a celeb, man, big time.
Yeah, Wednesday is definitely production day, from EFX Sports Show to Ask the Science videos and everything else I do.
And talk real quick. We didn't talk about this off the air, but talk about going to Bullfrog Nutrition in Ohio last week. And
oh, man. It was crazy. You know me, Carl. I mean, I'm just me.
Yeah.
So when I go places, I'm always amazed when, people want to talk to you. So I go back to Ohio, which is where I grew up, and Bullfrog Nutrition is up in Toledo. They were having their 1-year anniversary. Owner Paul Callahan, good friend of mine, sell a lot of EFX Sports, and then he has his own brand called Abiotic Factors. So he invites me up there. Jay Cutler, he's got a whole bunch of pros. I mean, the guy did a great job on this store. But I can't tell you how many people came in and said, I came here especially to see you. I mean, they traveled hours.
Right.
I mean, it was crazy. So, I had books and took more pictures, and I think I was as busy as Jay Cutler, which was kind of amazing because, he's quite the man when it comes to bodybuilding. Yeah, great guy, too. But it was fun. Got to go back to my hometown, Lorain, and visit my high school, and it was kind of cool.
So the people from your high school actually threw a separate, so you missed the whatever year anniversary of your graduating class.
I'm not even going to say what it was, but
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. So I mean, it's got to be. What?
It was 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah, it was 40. So I didn't know about it. I guess I didn't pay attention to all the social media groups until a few days prior, and I said, "Wow, man, I didn't know it. I'm coming in the next week." So one of the guys said, "You know what? We're just going to have another reunion for you. We'll do it at my house. Big backyard pool." So there's about 25 people, more than it was at the reunion, a couple coaches. And, man, we just had a great time sitting out, talking, reminiscing. Half the football team was there, so, of course, all the old war stories came up. But it was a lot of fun.
Are you, now, I'm asking this. I know these are good friends of yours, and I'm not shining a light negatively on them. But were you in the best shape of all the guys, or there's still a lot of guys that stick with it?
No, there's a couple of us that still train, but, as they walked in, everybody said, wow, Jeff still got hair.
Never mind hair, but it's still black. It's still dark.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a couple guys that still work out. One is a physical therapist, and the other guy does construction, but all the rest of them had kind of abandoned, weight training and such.
That's so sad.
So, I know it, and of course, some people don't change, alcohol and such.
Yeah.
But it was still
it's still great to see them. I know. And actually, we're going to kind of get into this a little bit into the discussion about the people who kind of give up on the diet and exercise side of life. And so, scientists in Australia were in search of a type 2 diabetes drug that would increase insulin sensitivity, which is the big challenge with people with type 2 diabetes. And so Associate Professor Anthony Don, also Professor Nigel Turner, and Jonathan Morris at the Jonathan Morris Synthetic Chemistry Group went searching for an enzyme that they have identified in previous research that seems to be the first domino that falls in the insulin resistance matrix. And it's actually called ceramide synthase. It's an enzyme. And they figured, well, now that we've discovered this, if we actually manipulate ceramide synthase, we should be able to reestablish insulin sensitivity. But lo and behold, as usually happens, right? I mean, isn't it like you're in search of something and you find something else, right? What they found was that by manipulating ceramide synthase, they actually did not improve insulin sensitivity, but they actually eradicated infiltration of fat into muscle and the liver, which is a hallmark of insulin resistance. I mean, it's amazing, right? So this could actually be one of the first legitimate anti-obesity drugs because it actually makes the fat go away from inside the muscles and the liver.
Well, this is what I love about research. Everything I've ever discovered has pretty much been accidental, right down to the discovery of crealkaline. I love when you are researching something, it doesn't go right, but you then find something else. This is why, we have to continue on with research. We may not always achieve what we're looking for, but more good things come out as kind of a side effect, so to say. But yeah, this is amazing. I mean, what they discovered,
So let's talk about the implications. Obviously, they did this in rodents, and what they were able to do was actually allow the rodents to burn the fat that had been deposited in their tiny insulin-resistant bodies in muscle and in the liver. And even though it didn't change the insulin sensitivity pathway, there are 6 of these ceramide synthase enzymes, and what they've only worked with was synthase 1 so far. And they're postulating that if they target synthase 6 also, that they'll get the insulin sensitizing effect that they had hoped for. But in the meantime, millions and millions of people around the world suffer from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it's a real problem because fat in the liver can kill you over time. This drug could actually eradicate that. That's amazing.
It is. And, I wanted to mention something because, unfortunately you have to do these tests with animals. And I know the animal activists, and I hate, sometimes when you have to do it, but I'd rather, sacrifice a few animals to save a whole lot of humans, instead of sometimes what we do. So, yeah, they put these animals, mice on a high-fat diet, and they actually induced metabolic disease from that. And as you said, they were looking for something else and found out that they were metabolizing fat. And That is really amazing. Now, it's just preliminary. As they said, hey, we don't know if this is going to work on humans. We're nowhere near that, but this is a great starting point. But with the amount of people, as you said, that do have, fatty livers, and they don't know what to do. I mean, let's face it, today on a global basis, people are lazy.
Yes.
They're looking for the magic pill. This could very well be the magic pill. Now, we don't know what kind of side effects or, is it going to shorten your lifespan by, 20 years? But by continue on with the obesity realm, you're going to shorten your lifespan anyhow.
That's true.
You're
right. You're right.
This was in Australia. They said that 2 out of 3 Australians are overweight and obese. Isn't that just crazy?
That sounds like it's even more than the United States, although I don't know. Maybe we may be 1 out of 2 at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't know. And I wouldn't think that, you would think that, Australia, being warm all the time, people would be more active. I know there's more obesity like here in Montana and the colder states than typically you find in, California and stuff, but I don't know.
So you said something interesting. And you said, we don't know how it's going to affect longevity. And it's important to understand that before ceramide synthase was discovered, it was actually originally called longevity assurance molecules. And the reason for that was when the original research was done in yeast, they found that by knocking out what was then called longevity assurance, but then eventually became ceramide synthase, by knocking it out, that yeast lived 50% longer. Now, we don't know the longevity implication because then mammalian ceramide synthase is actually different. And there's 6 different forms than some of these simpler forms of life. So we really don't know if this drug, and you said it, and it's good that you said it. This drug could shorten your life because we don't know what the effects on longevity are by manipulating. And if we know anything about pharmaceutical drugs, is we know that they always carry risks, big risks sometimes. Right. So. That's a good point.
And I guess one of the problems that I have with this and similar types of studies is we're trying to manipulate the human body. Our body is very complex. It has a built-in defense mechanism. And when we start changing enzymes or blocking stuff, we fix one problem, but we create 5 others. It's like, when they build these roads, you widen the highway here, you're going to create another problem down the street. And they don't think about that sometimes until, now we got this problem, now we got to fix this, and then they create 3 more. That's always the concern, when you talk about manipulating these enzymes and such, I can guarantee there are going to be issues which then, you take one drug to fix one problem, and then you got to take 3 others to now fix all the other problems. So it's kind of an ongoing cascade. I wish they would figure out a better way to do things without these side effects.
Well,
do you think that they don't care about the side effects?
But there is a better way to do things without side effects. And to come full circle to the discussion about you going back to Lorraine, it's to exercise, stay active, and eat properly. The problem is that we've been confused about what eating properly is. We have to eat a diet that is appropriate for our species and not just what the government is telling us we should be eating.
Right. And people give up. I mean, again, going back to reunion and, not seeing people for some of these people I haven't seen in 40 years. We've all chosen the path of health. And I think they just don't care. They enjoy the life. As a matter of fact, I was speaking to someone yesterday about Arnold Schwarzenegger's health. And, he said, man, the guy knows he's got heart issues, but he continues to smoke, 4 or 5 cigars a day and alcohol. Okay,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people, because I really believe that people think, not me, I think that's actually a defense mechanism that allowed our species to climb the ladder, because we think that, oh, no, not me. It's not going to happen to me. Otherwise, why would anybody even start smoking? Right?
Or it's just, well, you're going to die from something, so I might as well enjoy life. I mean, that's what I hear all the time. And it's like, are you really enjoying life? I mean, knowing that if you walk in the street in traffic, you're going to get hit by a car. Maybe not this time, but one time. So I don't know, does people's brains kind of go wacky, or, do they just enjoy the Russian roulette,
So let's talk about ceramide synthase just for a second and kind of take the 30,000-foot view of this enzyme and the possible backfires or the possible mechanisms that it works through. So first of all, it's found in large amounts in the endoplasmic reticulum of the cell. And we've talked about the ER for years on this show, because the ER is the telegraph office between cells. The ER produces chains of amino acids in a specific syntax sent out to the other cell to give it a message to do something. And this is how cells communicate. And we've talked about over the years, when the ER goes bad, through things like interrupted sleep, you start to build these chains of amino acids that don't mean anything, and they just travel around. They get stuck to things, they get sticky, and they become plaque. So the ER malfunction has been tied to the development of the types of plaques that we see in, for instance, in Alzheimer's disease. So manipulating this enzyme will have a direct effect on the ER. What is that effect? We don't know. That's scary.
Right.
That's scary to me. The other thing that ceramide synthase seems to play a role in that's important when it comes to the liver is the N-acetylation of cysteine. And we know that N-acetylcysteine is the precursor to glutathione, and we know that glutathione is critical for hepatic health because it's the sanitation system, the major antioxidant that keeps the liver healthy. We don't know what happens when we start fooling around with the ceramide synthase cascade and the production of glutathione in the liver.
Right.
So, I mean, again, to come full circle to your point, no one in the pharmaceutical industry cares about that. Oh, those are pesky details that we really don't want to know about. Because if it makes you lose fat, people will take it.
Well, look at every fat loss drug that they have attempted to release, and most of them are off the market.
Yeah.
Did they work? Yeah. But again, the drug companies rush to market. Now, people go, oh, yeah, but, it takes them 10 or 20 years. But they're nowhere near to bring something to market. They know the fatality rate in their studies that they do on humans. They know that it's not going to work for everybody. They know what the side effects are. I mean, that's what makes a drug. Look at any prescription drug. Pull out that white paper that nobody reads. Look at all of the warnings, precautions, adverse reactions. It's crazy. Most of them have caused some death. And I've said this before. I was at a convention that I was invited to present research at a hospital here. And I'm with Pfizer and Bristol Myers, and, we're talking. And I said, so did you guys have anybody die in your studies? Well, yeah, we plan on that. I mean, there's always going to be people that die. And, of course, sacrifice the few for the many. Well, what about in the real life? Are people going to die? Well, yeah, but it's going to help more people than it's going to hurt. I don't want to be the one that dies,
Yes. We operate under the guise of something called for the greater good. If you have to die for the greater good, then that's your contribution to the greater good. That's great, except if you're the one that has to die for everybody else to live.
Yeah, you know what I would like to see these brilliant scientists do? Say, we've created a better stationary bike that's easy on the knees, that makes it easy for you to exercise, and this is how we're going to cure obesity.
Yes. And then the government, then the insurance companies pay to make everybody use it. You know what? But that actually would work. But, again, people are just too lazy. I want to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about how you have taken the Santa hat off and put the Willy Wonka hat on. with the golden tickets that are out there. We're talking with Dr. Jeff Golini, and you can actually win thousands of dollars just by patronizing EFX products. We're going to tell you how, and there's still a lot of money in circulation out there, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Science for Humans. A little bit later in the show, I'm going to give you some updates on some exciting stuff going on here at the Superhuman Nation. I am the president of the Superhuman Nation, and Dr. Jeff is my vice president. There you go. All right, so there's something really exciting going on that I don't think we've made enough noise about on the show. Some time ago, you decided to become Willy Wonka. It's a bad time to be Santa Claus because it's very warm out right now. And so you decided to be Willy Wonka. And right now, what products have golden tickets hidden in them? And those golden tickets are worth like $1,000 each, right?
Yeah. I always like Willy Wonka. I always enjoyed that, the original one more than the newer one. Right. But anyhow, I wanted to launch a limited edition Carbolin flavor, kind of for the summer and, early fall. So we came up with raspberry lemonade, delicious, a little larger size, 4.5 pounds. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to make golden tickets. And we actually made golden tickets. A total of $5,000 is being given away, and some of them are literally $1,000 in cash. There's about 10 total in this particular run. And you pop the bottle open, you'll see it. It's in a little baggie. There's a golden ticket, and on the ticket it basically gives you all of what you need to do to redeem that.
So people may say, but how do I really, a lot of times, people say they did this and they didn't. Mm-hmm. So how did you ensure that these golden tickets would actually be in all of these jugs, Dr. Jeff?
So I personally did these. I had somebody from quality control actually place the tickets in the bottles, and they brought me the bottles. I then, after hours, I have these locked up in a secured area so nobody can even have access to them. They will pull so many pallets at a time. But I personally hid the bottles in this big old order. There were over close to 10,000 bottles, and I randomly put them in the pallet.
You actually hid them yourself.
I did, so nobody knows where they are. So when somebody pulls a bottle and shipping to ship, they have no idea. I wanted to do that so that, some hanky-panky didn't go on where somebody thought, oh, this is a good customer, let me send them a golden ticket,
Right.
Now, for those of you saying, well, yeah, that's just a sales gimmick, you want me to buy a bottle, you can get a free bottle absolutely free. If you go to EFXsports.com, I've got some 333-gram bottles that are free. You just have to follow the rules on what to do in order to receive those. And again, between the big bottles and the small bottles, these 10 tickets have been randomly placed. So there could be a $1,000 golden ticket in a free bottle.
Holy mackerel. Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know about the free bottle. See, it's a good thing we're talking about this.
Yeah, and you can get it free. I know EFX Sports is buying, you buy a big one, you get a small one free. So some people actually have a chance one order to get two. Or, like I said, you can just follow the instructions on how to get a free bottle. It's all about fun, man. Somebody said to me the other day, you're going crazy. You're getting older. You're just giving stuff away. And I thought, it's fun. I really enjoy thanking people, and, having some fun out there,
Well, and the interesting thing about this is, like, we're focused on these golden tickets, but the reality is that there isn't another product on the market like Carbolin. And many serious athletes use it today, like too many to mention. And every time I turn around and I hear somebody say, oh, man, I couldn't get through my workouts without Carbolin. I trained for 3 hours. I actually I met a guy the other day at my gym, and he walked up to me. His name was Brian. He said, you're Carl Lenore. And I don't get this a lot. And he said, I've seen you here a few times. but you're always like so intense. Like I've never wanted to interrupt you. I was actually, this is a funny story, and I'll tell it real fast. I had just done a set of tricep pushdowns on the hammer press machine, on the hammer tricep machine, and I was at the end of my workout, so I was like leaning on the machine, just staring out, and all of a sudden this dude comes walking towards me, and I look over his shoulder, and his girlfriend is there. I thought, oh, ma'am, this guy thought I was staring at his girlfriend. I thought he thought, oh, man, why is this guy staring at my girlfriend like that? And he came over and he shook my hand. He goes, my name is Brian. He says, you're Carl Lenore. I says, yeah. And so we started talking. And he's not on Facebook. I said, you want to take a selfie? He goes, nah, I don't do social media. I was like, okay, cool. He says, dude, man, I learned about Carbolin on your show. He goes, I can't train without it. He goes, I'm a CrossFit athlete. He goes, and there are days where I'm training 3-4 hours in a row. He goes, I take a full dose, 50 grams before I work out. He goes, and then I keep a shaker bottle with it, with another 50 grams in it, and I sip it throughout the workout. He goes, and I don't. He goes, I leave the gym and feel like I could train for another hour.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's really catching on in the CrossFit. But I get that all the time. I'll be out somewhere, and some athlete who works for another company will come up and go, hey, Dr. Jeff, I just want to tell you, man, I use Carbolin. and this is even like, baseball, football, basketball players. I mean, people that I don't even know that, I'll be somewhere at airport. It's funny. I'm glad it works for people.
I just came up with your next campaign.
What's that?
Come out of the closet. Are you a closet Carbolin user? Because people don't want to tell other people because they don't want people to know what gives them the edge sometimes, right?
No,
so they keep it to themselves.
And so many, especially bodybuilders, this is what all of them are using backstage to pump, and nobody wanted to tell anybody. But now that the trainers are all seeing it, real quick, the last show I had was at the Europa Dallas. And so many athletes who were competing ran over and said, do you got any Carbolin? Because everybody's saying they're using Carbolin to pump up.
Oh, how funny.
I was like, yeah, here you go. And
yeah, I mean, that'll make your muscles fill up and swell real fast, I'm sure.
Oh, big time. Yep.
Especially after you've been carb depleted. I mean, that Carbolin sounds like the right thing to do right before you get on stage.
Yep, if I was still competing, that's what I'd be doing.
Yeah. Always wonderful to be with you, Dr. Jeff.
You too, my friend. Take care.
We'll see you next week. All right, stay tuned. We're going to take one quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I have quite a few things to cover. The first is a new sponsor of ours, and that's Somnifix. So last time I was out at Quest at our annual think tank event, I was introduced to mouth taping. And I actually thought it was kind of bogus. Those of you who've been listening to the show for a long time know that I sleep with a chin strap that keeps my mouth from opening at night so I don't snore. And I don't really snore anymore. And I'm going to talk about my sleep. My sleep has really gotten good. I want to share some secrets with you. But Ron Penna, who doesn't snore at all, said he had started taping his mouth because of a fella who was at the event, giving him some information earlier in the year. And he thought, the same thing like I did. What could this do? He started taping his mouth. And he said he noticed something. Like the first morning he woke up. Like, wow, I really feel refreshed. I feel better. And he kept telling me, you got to try taping your mouth. You got to try it. You got to try it. And the first couple times I tried it, I used medical adhesive tape, the cloth stuff. It came off in the middle of the night. It didn't work well. So then Tim Bruce finds this company called Somnifix, and they're on this stuff already. They're talking about it. I'm like, okay, this is actually moving to mainstream. So they sent me a trial batch. Excuse me, had to drink some water. And because it just fits on your lips, it really worked. It didn't come off in the middle of the night. And I noticed the first day I used it, the next morning I absolutely felt more refreshed. Now keep in mind, I'm sleeping with a chin strap, so I don't think I'm breathing through my mouth. I'm not waking up in the morning with dry mouth like people who sleep with their mouths open all the time. But clearly, I was kind of like puffing between my lips. And so, and I was thinking, well, what could this even do? What's the big deal? And as I started to look at the science, I realized that breathing through your nose allows you to get into a deeper state of sleep because of its effect on the nervous system. I'm coughing, I'm sorry. My allergies are back in uproar. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And I started taping my mouth every night with Somnifix lip strips, I call them, and looked at the level of deep sleep I was getting on my sleep tracker and how long I was staying in deep sleep. And I noticed absolutely immediately a difference. I was getting into deeper sleep and staying there for longer periods of time. I was waking up feeling better, and I thought, okay, I'll keep doing it. You can get a trial pack of Somnifix strips if you, I think you have to go to our website and click the banner ad. Let me see. Or the ad, we just ran it. Here, let me listen to it just for a second, because I'm not even sure. Where is the Somnifix spot? Let's just run this real quick here. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Stop. I want to play. Stop. Because I'm not sure what the offer is here. Let's see. For the past 4 months, I've been keeping a secret. Every night at bedtime, I tape my mouth shut with Somnifix strips. That's right, and here's why. Whether you snore or not, I'm going to lower it because those of you who are paying for Patreon don't want to hear a spot. But I got to tell you about this. This is really important. I've noticed that I sleep deeper and have seen improvements in my health, fitness, and cognitive. And the cognitive function, for sure. I stopped waking up with brain fog, by the way. Hepatic nervous system and improves nitric oxide production, and that leads to improved sleep, immunity, carbon dioxide, oxygen exchange, and much more. Oh, and if you do snore, it'll help you stop snoring. Try Somnifix risk-free. Go to somnifix.com/SHR. There you go. /SHR, somnifix.com/SHR, and you get a free trial package. Now, the thing, like, Elisa won't try it because she's afraid that in the middle of the night she won't be able to open her mouth and she'll suffocate. And you can't. The Somnifix strips actually have little perforated holes where if you had to suck air through them, you could. But more importantly, the way they're designed is if you were to open your mouth, it just comes off. So it's not like... And I had to get used to sleeping with a chin strap. I had the same feel, like, oh, what happens if my nose is stuffed and my mouth can't open? Well, you can still breathe, I figured out, through your lips. You can open your lips up a little bit, even though your jaw is clenched. But the Somnifix strip will break away. Like, so if your nose is stuffed and you can't breathe, you're going to open your mouth in the middle of the night and you're going to wake up as well. But I promise you, if you give them a try, what you'll find out is something mysterious. And that is that you actually sleep deeper. And the science says because of the nitric oxide that builds up in the nasal passages as you inhale and exhale. That has an effect on the parasympathetic nervous system. But you actually sleep deeper and feel like you are rested in the morning. So that's one of the things that I've changed. So I've slept good for the past week, and if I keep sleeping like this, I can see me breaking out of all the issues that I've developed and getting back to optimal health sometime in 2019. It's going to take some time of sleeping good week in and week out. I know that. But so I'm taping my mouth. I'm sleeping with the Somnifix lip strips. I'm only taking 10 milligrams of melatonin. I've tried lots of different doses. 10 is the sweet spot for me. It helps me sleep deeper. And again, this is not like I'm guessing at it. I have lots of things, my respiration, my heart rate, and the level of deep sleep that I track at night. And since I've been using the Somnifix, taking just 10 milligrams of melatonin, and 250 milligrams of phenibut, right, pH GABA, Just 250 milligrams. That's an ultra low dose. I think there's some sleep supplements out there that have like 1,000 milligrams. When I get above 400 milligrams, I actually don't sleep as good. I think that I get too deep into sleep, if that makes any sense to those of you who have sleep issues. You know that when you get into too deep of a sleep, when you wake up in the morning, you're not ready to wake up. And even when I got 8 hours sleep, when I used more, it hurt me. I couldn't shake. I couldn't wake up. I've also cut caffeine out of my intake. I drink tea in the morning and that's it. But I'm not using any coffee. I'm not using any caffeine during the day. And I noticed that if I do have caffeine, like for whatever reason, I feel like I need a cup of coffee, I don't get in as deep of a sleep at night. I'm also wearing Andy Mant's blue blocking glasses at night. I put them on at 7 p.m. Even though during the summertime, it seems like the daylight hours are longer, they're starting to shorten. And I think the person who first talked about this was, I'm going to forget his name now. Isn't that something? But having a regular time, I think, is more important than trying to follow the local sunrise and sunset at this point in time for me. I put them on at 7 p.m., and if I'm working on my computer or looking at my iPhone, or Elisa and I downstairs watching a TV show, I keep them on from 7 p.m. until it's time to go to bed. I read before bed, I read with them on, and then I take them off when I go to sleep. Tape my mouth, take my supplements first, tape my mouth, and go to sleep. I have slept better in the past week than I have in years. And I'm seeing it in the gym. I'm training more frequently. I'm training longer. I'm using much heavier weight. I'm doing more reps. In fact, I commented to a friend of mine yesterday, I'm getting so strong again, and it's all because I'm sleeping good. So if sleep has been elusive for you, try these things. Of course, I stop eating at 6 p.m. at night. If it's a night where I eat later than 6 p.m., I do not sleep as deep as long, no matter what. So I stop eating. I have my meal. I'm done eating by 6:15. So I have a good 3-hour window before I go to bed at 9, where the food is way, way far along digestion-wise. So try these things. If you have trouble sleeping, try some of these things. And please email me at onair@superhumanradio.net. Let me know about your personal experience. But also, if you have found some things that work for you, let me know, and I'll bring them up, because sleep is a big issue for most of us, and as you age especially. And correcting these issues is possible. Sometimes it takes a few different things, as you've seen with my discussion just now. But clearly, it can be corrected. And if you correct it, you will be stronger in the gym, you'll lose body fat better, you'll live longer, your brain will function better. I mean, there's so many good things. If people just focused only on their sleep for a while and fixed that, many of the diseases and disorders that they wrestle with will actually start to go away on their own, because sleep is when the body repairs itself. I want to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about a company called Metagenics and why you should visit superhumanradio.net. Stay tuned. You know, Elisa teaches me a lot of things. One of the things that she taught me about was a company called Metagenics. We always talk about, what if supplement companies actually did the research like pharmaceutical companies do? We talk about this all the time. There are companies out there that do. Metagenics is one of them. For 30 years, they have produced unparalleled quality and efficacy supplements. They spend over $7 million a year just in R&D. I mean, hell, that's more than a handful of supplement companies make in a year. They actually have over 80, I think 87 to be exact, published studies on some of their products on PubMed. And get this, they do research on the efficacy and dosages of every supplement they sell. They are exactly the company that we always say, oh, you know, I wish we had a company that actually paid to do the research to show that this product actually works in the dosages as they claim it does. Well, Metagenics does that. My friend Paul Constanti, who's been on the show, he's talked about stem cells and stuff. He set up a Metagenics online store. Because typically, you can't buy Metagenics out in the world. You usually have to go to a doctor's office or some kind of healthcare practitioner because Metagenics, because they're so serious about supplements, they generally only sell through healthcare practitioners. Well, Dr. Paul Constanti is one of those healthcare practitioners. And what he's done is he's set up at superhumanradio.net a Metagenics online store so that you can actually buy Metagenics products without having to go to your doctor's office. Right now, it's just in the U.S. I don't know anything about overseas, so those of you listening to the show from outside the U.S., I'll get more information from him. But you could go to superhumanradio.net and click through to any podcast or article. And at the very top of the page, so it's not on the home page right now, and it will be, but at the very top of the page, you'll see a big banner ad for Metagenics. If you click that banner ad, you'll be transported to Dr. Paul Constanti's online store, where you can shop for every single Metagenics supplement made and have it shipped right to you at your home or office. And better yet, right now, Dr. Constanti is offering a 20% off your first order on whatever you buy. And there's no minimum. You can buy one bottle of a supplement. You'll get 20% off. Or you can load up your shopping cart with a bunch of stuff that you usually buy from your doctor and get 20% off. If you go to superhumanradio.net and click any article or any blog or any podcast posting, the next page you land on will have a big Metagenics banner ad on it. Click that banner ad and just go shopping. Don't even buy anything. Just go look at the vast number of highly effective GMP manufactured supplements Metagenics offers. And in the past, doctors, they use them. They still do. We talked the other day about SPMs when Joel Green was on the show. SPMs are fractions of fish oil. They are the fraction of fish oil that are actually responsible for the resolving of inflammation that fish oil is heralded to affect. And so you don't have to take a big fish oil capsule just to get a small amount. What Metagenics has done is they have extracted them from fish oil and concentrated them into tiny little gel caps. You heard Joel Green say they have drug-like effects in resolving inflammation. And they do. I've used them. I use them post-surgery. I use them periodically. So they're not inexpensive. But if you have a chronic inflammatory issue, you can use them to get it under control, and then your fish oil supplements will work even better. Also, Metagenics has some of the best fish oil products, completely shelf-stable. They keep them refrigerated. They've shipped them refrigerated. They're really, really, really excellent products. They have probiotics that are not broad spectrum, but specific portions of the lactobacillus, for instance, or bifido, or it's not just this shotgun approach. They do the research to identify which particular strain within that large universe of a probiotic is responsible for doing things like resolving food poisoning. They have one that if you get food poisoning and you take it and a day later you're better, like that fast. They have so many different products, it's just impossible for me to list them. I'm so impressed with this company. That I agreed to put this store up just so that my listeners can have access to these products easily and conveniently. So check it out. Right now, again, 20% off your entire order, and that's even if you just buy one bottle of something, you'll get 20% off. There's no minimum. Again, go to superhumanradio.net, click through to any second page, and look at the top of the page, and you'll see the Metagenics banner ad, so check that out. And we'll see you tomorrow with more Superhuman Radio. Thank you for listening today.